So you want to jump into New World and see what it's all about? Well, I'm here to help you out with everything you need to know to get started. New World isn't your typical MMO. It has a more unique style of combat with not so many buttons. If this is your first MMO, then just know that there isn't another one like it, and don't be afraid to check out the others. I'll break this up into chapters, so feel free to jump around. Before we hop into the game, I want to mention the accessibility options. The option list seems like a decent size, but there are some things that just don't work that well. You get closed captions, a text-to-speech option, a speech-to-text option, and a color mode with 8 different presets. There is also a text size option, but it only works on player names and the items in the world. The normal quest text and dialogue isn't affected, which is unfortunate. Text-to-speech is a cool feature, but if you leave it on, it will read everything in chat. I recommend setting your chat to just your company chat or a party chat before turning it on. Before you create your character, you'll be asked to select a server. Each server is connected to a main server called a world. Right now, as of recording, you can only have 2 characters per region. When fresh start servers that act as if the game is brand new, come out, the number of character slots will be 3. Also, you'll only be able to make 1 character per world, and if multiple servers have the same world, you can only use one of those servers. So make sure that if you have friends you want to play with, that you find out what server they are on ahead of time, so you don't have to worry about eventually transferring your character over for a real money cost. While creating your character, you can have spaces in your name. Once you finish creating your character, you are taken to the tutorial area, which is pretty good. You'll learn how to combat and navigate the world there, and at the end of that, you wash up on a beach, and this is when the game really starts, but the tutorial doesn't end. The quest in the beginning area do a great job of getting weapons in your hands and explaining how mostly everything works in the game. The UI interface is pretty simple in design. The compass up top also acts as your guide to quest and location markers, and at the bottom right you have your weapons, skills, item, and bag weight. As of recording, there are 13 weapons in the game, with the greatsword making 14 when it comes out on October 18th. The shield is considered part of the sword weapon. You can equip up to 2 weapons with 3 skills each. Each weapon has 2 different paths with various perks and skills to choose from. These paths kind of point you into a role. Depending on the weapon, you can be more of a tank, a healer, or be more damage focused. To get points for these paths, you have to level each weapon individually by killing enemies with the weapon. If you mess up or pick a skill that you don't like, don't worry, you can respec for free or for a little Azoth, which I'll get into what Azoth is later. It's possible to gain experience for 2 weapons at once if you do damage with one and finish it off with the other, and the experience is split between the weapons, with the one that did the most damage getting the most XP. Each weapon has its own attribute that helps increase the damage you can do with it, so we'll jump into the attributes now. Attributes are your player stats: strength, agility, intelligence, focus, and constitution. On the attribute screen, you can see which weapon is affected by that stat screen. Hitting each marker on the stat bar also adds bonuses to the professions. Most likely you'll be focusing on 2 stats, maybe 3 at the most, and like the weapon skills, feel free to play around with them. In the early levels, it's free to respec, and in later levels, it doesn't cost a lot of coin, which is the in-game currency. I highly encourage you to play around with all the weapons and attributes as much as you want until you find the combination that you feel works best for you. While you're running around on the beach and beyond that, you're going to pick up a variety of quests. Some will just pop up with different markers. A lot of them are the same color or close to the same color, so you'll have to look at the shapes. Pressing J on the keyboard will open up your journal, and you can pin and unpin map objectives to the UI to keep track of the quest objectives. On the map, side quests are a diamond shape. Main quests are a diamond shape with a crown-like appearance above it. Epic quests that are kind of worth doing are a diamond shape with 3 flame-like shapes coming from it. And town board quests are arrowheads, and faction quests are circles. While we're on the map, let's take a closer look at it. On the left side of the map, you have the map legend, which tells you all the info you need about the map. Under manage objectives, you can take a look at the quests that you have available, organize them by difficulty, distance, zone, or type. Under that, you have territory standing. Anything you do in a zone that gives some kind of XP will also give you territory XP. As you level up your territory, each territory level gives you 3 bonuses to choose, from extra storage space to faster gathering in that zone. At zone level 10, you'll be able to purchase a house in the zone's main settlement, and the max level for territory standings is 300. Then we have upcoming wars, which will tell you the times of wars between companies battling over the settlement, and invasions, which are the dark forces trying to take out everyone. The time shown should be in your zone time. The resource locations show you what the different shades on the overall map represent and what resources you can find there. If any of this has been helpful so far, consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. In New World, you can learn every trade skill from level 1. All you need are either the tools to gather materials or the materials to craft. There are 4 trade skill categories: casual, gathering, refining, and crafting. You can find the list of trade skills under the character menu. Selecting a trade skill will open up and tell you which level unlocks what you can craft or gather. The gathering also shows at what level nodes will appear on the compass if you are close by. Recently, they added musical instruments, which will allow you to get certain buffs like gathering speed and territory experience from either playing a song or standing near music being played. Each material has value, as you usually need the lower tier materials to craft higher tier. These can be sold at the trading post, and because some materials are so easy to get and you need so much to craft, you'll see big bulks for sale. Don't worry about a crowded market. More than likely you'll sell items in the trading post with no problem. For crafting, you have to go to the proper level crafting station to craft your items. So for example, if the crafting station is tier 5, you can only craft tier 5 and lower items there. But if it's a tier 1 crafting station, then you can't craft higher tier items at that station. The station tiers are based upon how developed a settlement is, and it is possible for crafting stations to be downgraded after a war. You can actually level from levels 1 through 60 by just doing your trade stuff. Let's talk about where you're going to store all these materials you are getting. Storage is a lot more magical than it used to be, allowing you to access any storage shed across the map. It holds quite a bit regularly, but with territory standing updates, you can increase it a lot more, and it's great because if you have the materials in storage of the settlement that you are crafting in, it will automatically pull the items from that storage and use them to craft. Factions in New World aren't really that important. You do need to join one before you can do any PvP or join a guild, which is known as a company. Companies are who are in charge of the taxes of a settlement. The taxes go into the company's bank funds, which are then used for territory wars and invasions. Companies can have up to 100 people in them, and I guess they are alright for having a group of people to play with. PvP is opt-in, so no one is forced to do it if they don't want to. To turn on PvP, you have to have joined a faction and be inside a settlement before you can activate it. You can also be standing on a sanctuary zone, teleport pad. There are PvP faction quests that require you to be flagged and go to certain areas of the map, with the ideal you'll run into other flagged players. There are a few PvP modes that you can participate in, and at level 20, you'll be able to join 3v3 arenas. At level 50, you can do Outpost Rush, which is like a MOBA style mode, and you can also participate in territory control wars. If you are selected from the sign-up list, killing enemies or winning PvP modes reward with Azoth Salt. It's a new currency that was recently added alongside a PvP track that unlocks rewards for you to spend your salt on. These can be legendary items or gear upgrades. So I mentioned talking about Azoth earlier. Azoth is a mystical substance made for the game. You use it to improve the items you are crafting, to respec your weapon skills, and to teleport from the different teleportation areas on the map. In the world, there are teleporter pads that you can stand on and teleport across the map with, but you have to have the place you want to travel to unlocked. You can spot the teleport pads from a distance by looking for the beam of light shooting into the sky. When you are able to get a house, you'll also be able to teleport to all your homes, and you'll be able to set a respawn teleport point at an inn. When you are running on the road pass in New World, you get a slight boost in speed. Eventually, there will be mounts, but they are not ready yet. Along the travels, you'll see these ominous areas with something that looks like portal gates and tentacles at them. These are portals, and going through the main quest will give you an item that will allow you to close them. Some you can do solo, and others you need a group to help handle. These do award chests based on how much participation that you've had, and can be pretty fun. As you are questing and leveling up, pay attention to the level range that is listed on the zones in the map. There's no rule that says you have to immediately run to the zone closest to your level, but just in case you want to, they do tell you where you should be. My suggestion is to play the game how you want. If you want a chill leveling experience, go ahead and take that route. While you're out running around, pressing P brings up the emote wheel, and left Alt and H will hide the UI so you can take great screenshots. Check out this video right here. Thanks for watching. Peace.